right now we don't have enough information to really give you anything. So that's just going to have to wait until we hear something from Derrick himself.
Imagine this. It's game night at Madison Square Garden. The New York Knicks are about to take the court against the New Orleans Pelicans. The crowd is packed, the lights are bright, and the players are warming up. Except for one. Their starting point guard, Derrick Rose, is missing. No texts, no calls, no one in the entire Knicks organization has a clue where he is. The team calls him. Nothing. Reporters ask the coach. He has no idea. Fans start panicking. Is he injured? Did he quit? Or did something more serious happen? Hours passed, and still no sign of Rose. The Knicks, desperate for answers, send a staff member to his apartment, hoping to find him there. But when they open the door, he's gone. This was one of the most bizarre disappearances in NBA history. And even though the truth eventually came out, questions still remain. Was Derrick Rose really just dealing with a family emergency, or was there something deeper happening behind the scenes? It was just another game night for the New York Knicks. They were set to play the New Orleans Pelicans at Madison Square Garden. Rose had even attended the morning shoot-around. But then, as tip-off approached, he was nowhere to be found. The team had no clue where he was. Calls went straight to voicemail, and the media, they were left completely in the dark. Things got even weirder when the Knicks PR team refused to give an explanation. Even the coaching staff didn't know what was going on. When news broke that Derrick Rose had vanished without a trace, the speculation went into overdrive. Was this a personal crisis, or something much bigger? With no official explanation from the Knicks, fans, analysts, and even Rose's own teammates were left in the dark. And that's when the theories started to flood in. Some believed Rose might have suffered a serious injury but didn't want the media to know. Just a few years earlier, his career took a major hit with devastating knee injuries. If he was dealing with another setback, could he have panicked and left without telling the team? But here's the problem with this theory. He had just played in the previous game with no signs of an injury. So if it wasn't that, then what? At the time, the Knicks were a total disaster. The team had playoff hopes, but by mid-season, they were falling apart. The chemistry was bad, the coaching staff was struggling, and Phil Jackson's triangle offense experiment was failing miserably. Some thought this was the breaking point. Maybe Rose was so frustrated that he decided he wanted out, walking away from the team without saying a word. And this theory isn't as crazy as it sounds. That season, Rose was in the final year of his contract, and his future with the Knicks was already in doubt. But still, would he really just walk away in the middle of a season? Now, here's where things get interesting. Around this time, the Knicks had started shopping Rose in potential trades. So when he disappeared, some fans thought maybe, just maybe, he was secretly meeting with another team. Now there's no hard evidence of this, but think about it. Rose didn't contact anyone, not the Knicks front office, not his coaches, not even his teammates. It almost seemed like he wanted to disappear. But why? And that brings us to the most likely scenario. Something much more personal. After hours of complete radio silence, Derrick Rose finally resurfaced the next day. And the truth? It was both shocking and heartbreaking. Rose later revealed that he left the team to go home to Chicago and be with his mother. He said he was dealing with a deeply personal family issue and needed to be with his family immediately. Now, that explanation makes sense, but here's the strange part. Why didn't he tell anyone? Most players, if they have a family emergency, at least inform the team. Even a simple text message saying, "Hey, I need to leave," could have prevented this entire situation. But Rose didn't do that. Instead, he vanished without a trace, leaving the Knicks completely clueless. And what made this even weirder, reports came out later that Rose had been feeling mentally exhausted and even considered quitting basketball entirely. That's right, at just 28 years old, the former MVP was so drained physically and mentally that he thought about stepping away from the game for good. It makes you wonder, was this really just about family, or was it something deeper? Whatever the case, the Knicks weren't happy. Even after learning about this situation, they fined Rose $200,000, the standard penalty for missing a game without an excuse. Rose apologised and his teammates moved on, but things were never the same after that night. After this bizarre incident, Rose returned to the team the next day and tried to move on, but things were never really the same. That season was already a mess for the Knicks, and this only made it worse. By the summer of 2017, he was gone, signing with the Cleveland Cavaliers. But this left one big question. Why didn't he just tell the team? If it was really a family emergency, why not send a text, make a call, or even tell someone? Some believe Rose was already mentally checked out of New York and just didn't care. Others think the Knicks' dysfunction played a role in this whole thing. And then there were those who still believed something else was going on behind the scenes. So what do you think? Was this just a personal emergency, or was there more to the story? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more NBA stories. In the meantime, I'm just Stevo.